Greetings once again, my friends, and welcome back to Drak Vlogs. I bet you guys thought we were done with the vlogs, but technically this is kind of a review, but I just don't feel like, this doesn't fit into the necessary portion of a review because with a console compared to games, time is a little bit more lenient. People are more interested in like the first year of a console, not necessarily the first month. I mean, granted, when it's positive, we like it, but we still kind of sit there and go, okay, well, let's see how this does in its first year. Let's see how things go. And in case you haven't been able to tell what we're talking about today, it's been a couple of months, so we're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch and my personal viewpoints on it, and kind of a review, kind of a vlog. And the reason I'm saying it's more of a vlog is because I'm not going to score the Switch. What I might do is wait until the end of the year to score the overall launch of the Switch. Like, see how well the Switch did in its first year. So where else can we actually start other than the console itself, and my viewpoints on it? Now that I've gotten it in my hands, this is actually really handy. This is really, it feels really good in your hands compared to my worries about it, which was the little Joy-Cons would be too small for my big hands. Actually, you know what, Brinton, and I think Aldo was even saying this too, you're right, it fits really, really well. It actually works as kind of a glorified handheld console. I kind of want to go into the various modes, just to be able to give you guys my thoughts on them, but I pretty much tried all of the modes that you can actually use, including the Joy-Cons. The only thing I haven't been able to try too much about is the multiplayer with the Joy-Cons, but from what I've been able to tell, it's pretty spot on. It works pretty well, because me and I played a little bit of 1-2 Switch, as well as a friend has helped me play 1-2 Switch, and it's worked out. And let's actually just go into, first of all, the screen itself. Let's just take these off really quick. I know a lot of people are complaining about the screen. I don't necessarily have that complaint. I think it's plenty big, especially in handheld mode, and I like it. I don't have any like, compared to the 3DS XL, which depending on the game that's being made, like the team, you're going to get some really big text and you'll be able to read it. I have not really had any issues reading the text, and I already tried it on a couple of other things, particularly Breath of the Wild. People might have noticed I said on the Run on the Ropes podcast that during one match I was busy doing food stuff and all that in Breath of the Wild, and I didn't have any issue reading the text. So already this is kind of a one-up to me for the 3DS XL, because I'm not outing the 3DS XL. It's just depending on the developer, you either get really big text or you get really small text, and it's frustrating. But I do like the screen overall. The kickstand version of it, this is probably a little bit of a gripe to me, because unless you're playing something like 1-2 Switch, I do still have a little bit of an issue seeing what's going on, but I have a feeling this will be more interesting when it's for the car, if that makes sense. If you're playing it in the car and you can have some fun playing Mario Kart, it'll be a little bit more fun. But right now, not really. But overall, I don't have a problem with the screen. I know a lot of people have issues with the size of it. I really don't. The Joy-Cons. So I'm gonna show in my hand right here. I'm trying to be as loose as I can about it. That's how big my hands are compared to the Joy-Con, and it's actually been it fits really, really well. As I've said, Brinton, although you are right, it fits awesomely. I've been able to play numerous games on it. The only time that I've ever had any real issue has been the dock controller, and it's only because I'm not used to the layout of it just yet, and so it feels like I have to reach to get certain things, like the right analog stick kind of thing. But yeah, I don't really have an issue with the Joy-Cons. They work really, really well and at a good distance. I actually tested these things off for 1-2 Switch pretty far away from the screen. They still work. So nice work on that one, Nintendo. But I will admit that my favorite controller, and I don't unfortunately have it in front of me, is the Pro controller. It's off in some other room. That's my favorite, and then the reason being is that it feels kind of like a GameCube controller mixed with a Super Nintendo, and I really do like that feel to it. A majority of my gaming has been done on the Pro Controller. Like, as much as I enjoy the Joy-Cons for those multiplayer games, when I'm looking to have just kind of a hardcore gaming session, I dig out the Pro Controller. And I wasn't happy about the fact that I had to go and get one, but that's not necessarily an issue on Nintendo's part. But it plays really, really, really well. I like the Pro Controller in my hands, especially compared to the Wii U Pro Controller. Oh, such an improvement over that. Let's see. So I've kind of gone over into the controllers, into the screen itself. Handheld mode, I don't really have any issues. And obviously, when you plug it into a screen, it's gorgeous. I love it. I've been doing my review footage for Breath of the Wild and a couple of other Switch games that I've downloaded, and it looks brilliant on a big screen, which is such a welcome thing to have. I mean, the Wii U still had it, but being able to see Nintendo games in 1080 is pretty freaking awesome, and almost like they are. I would actually say, compared to the game that, depending on the game you're talking about, we're probably looking at comparable, if not a little ways back to PS4, Xbox One graphics. So I love that fact that I can see Zelda in the same resolution that I can see games like Uncharted. It's really helpful to me. The other thing I also want to point out, and 1 second, I'm going to actually show you guys. Okay, so I have to untangle the wires here a little bit, but I wanted to show you the other thing that I do like is the charging station for the Switch. I know this doesn't look like much, and it really isn't. I don't know why I don't know why I would mention this, but to me, this is a golden thing, and the reason being is, if I can open this up, here we go. So you can actually open this up and house cables within this, which is supposed to help reduce the cord mazes behind your TV. You know what, Nintendo? I'm going to give you major props for this one. I've been able to fit a lot of these cords in there, so that this is very short. And that helps, because for me, who has to switch between consoles quite frequently, this has been really helpful, because then I'm not tripping over myself and tripping over cords and doing all that stuff. So I did want to give major props to that. That's something that a veteran game console developer would be thinking about. And you know what, Sony, Microsoft, start thinking about this. This is a great idea. And somebody's going to mention to me, he's like, oh, well, they made the cord shorter. Yeah, that made it a little bit more of a problem. So I'm not necessarily counting that one. And the Xbox didn't do that, because you still have the big old power brick in there. So I did also want to mention that one, or that little detail. Now, unfortunately, I have to get into the meat of what my objections are to the Switch. And that is the game library. I've been on numerous podcasts. I've been on numerous episodes of whatever Let's Play I'm doing saying this exact same thing. And I know that my panelists on Geek News are going to get on my case and say that I'm not judging this properly. But it is an issue for me. So, obviously, I pre-ordered the Switch. Not necessarily because I wanted to be a first buyer or anything like that. I did that because I wanted to be able to review the games on it, and I wanted to be able to review the console itself. The sad part is that this kind of has an issue in the fact there isn't a whole lot released as of right now, which is like the 1st of May. You know, we've had some big releases happen since then. We've had big releases like Mario Kart Deluxe, which looks really, really good. Actually, kind of makes me want to buy Mario Kart 8 again. But when you get down to the brass tacks of it, a lot of the games that are out right now are indie developments. There are some that are not, but most of it is like, especially the stuff that I've showcased on Drak Tries. You've seen Breath of the Wild, so that's Nintendo. Next was Blaster Master Zero, which was an indie effort. Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap, again, an indie effort. Let's see, what was another? Snake Pass, again, indie effort. So you're starting to see a little bit of a pattern here. And that's a little... I'm not saying anything bad about the indie developers. I love the fact that they have a place to be able to go, and their games look great on it. In fact, I cannot wait for Stardew Valley and This is going to be like the third time I've bought Stardew Valley, but I don't care. Stardew Valley and Yooka-Laylee. I can't wait for those to come out on the Switch so that I can have them and be able to take them on the go wherever I go. But at the same time, I also wanted to see a lot of the big second-party titles, or second and third-party titles, even more Nintendo titles, and they're not out yet. I mean, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, we have, but the next big ones that we're looking at are, I think, ARMS and Splatoon 2 in the summer, and we have to wait for a new Mario game all the way out into the holidays. So that's my beef, is does the price tag for the Switch necessarily justify you going out and getting it right now? I would actually say no, and I would tell my friends, and you, my friends, it's probably better. And this is my usual mantra with this. With buying a console, it's just when you're doing reviews, you have to get it as quick as you can so you can do the footage. My friends, I would honestly recommend waiting a year. Wait a year, wait for the game library to flesh itself out, wait for the online service to finally hit, for all the bugs to kind of be worked out, and then at that point they'll start getting Virtual Console, which will be even more motivation for some people to be able to get more games. Wait until at least we have a Mario and a Zelda, because I really want more first-party titles announced. Look, I know I've railed on the Wii U because of the fact that they have nothing but first-party titles on it that anybody wanted. But Nintendo is known for its first-party titles. And so at that point, it's worth it to wait for a Nintendo console when they have about 2 or 3. In this case, Zelda, Mario, and I'm hoping that we get another one. No, never mind. I was thinking one of the Kirby games was coming out. I think they're all for 3DS. So that's all kind of an issue. Maybe by then Fire Emblem Heroes or Fire Emblem Warriors will be out, so you guys can have that. That would be a third first party kind of title. But really, I'm hoping for a Metroid game. I have no problem admitting that. But that's really kind of my major beef with it, is that the game library is kind of weak right now. Kind of like how the PS4 and the Xbox One started out. There wasn't a whole lot to get invested in. So it's probably better for a lot of people to wait until about a year. Like either this holiday season or probably next holiday season. And by then there will be enough of a library, I think, to justify the $300 price tag. And I'm already like 12, 13 minutes in, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. That's kind of my viewpoint. I'm not going to score the Switch. Maybe when we get to the end of the year, I'll actually do like a full-on scoring of its overall first year, and we'll see how well it did. But for now, it's a worthwhile console. It's really well built. It's a great Nintendo console, but its game library is still lacking a little bit. Let's wait until the holidays and let that get fleshed out. And that's going to go ahead and do it for me. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for continuing to like, comment all of my videos and continue to show your support and love. Thank you for subscribing to my account and continuing to recommend my channel to your friends and family. I always appreciate it. And of course, I will see you guys next time for the next video.